Those are the two
Mhm.
things that he used to talk about a lot. My dad worked very hard at his job. He was always away from home pretty much. He was up early and back home late. And um, he was a very busy guy. So he was a chest surgeon. So he did everything from the lungs to the heart to everything in there. So that takes obviously a tremendous amount of work ethic and hard work, especially as someone who came from Peru. To break into the United States and establish himself as a top surgeon, was a very difficult thing,
Mhm.
especially back then in the 60s and 70s. So, and he said, I remember he told me a story about how he was trying to get into a residency program initially from Peru. And they told him that they had already picked who they were going to have as residents. And he went to the United States anyway to have an interview. And they're like, "Well, you can if you
Oh,
want. If you want to come by, that's fine. But we already picked the people that we have." And he was
mm,
very persistent, and he went there and he proved himself, and they took him on as another resident. So I remember him just talking about being an optimist, believing yourself, and having the work ethic to back it up. And eventually said people are gonna take notice, and you'll be successful, but it's never an easy journey, and you got to fight for what you want. And yeah, those are kind of the main takeaways that I got from my dad.
I love it. I mean, it's because you said initially you got into martial arts because you felt a warrior's calling, like the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And do you think that's part of it? Is that you were seeing that from your parents? That kind of we're going to fight, we're going to compete for whatever. You were not giving up, or you know, you said I think it was on Chewie's podcast. You said that when Dana originally asked you to come on the Ultimate Fighter, you were like, "Nah, I'm just doing this for fun," and then
Yeah.
you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. Like, nah, this is just for me. I'm turning
Yeah.
down millions and all. But what changed there? What did you think? You said, I think it was you wanted to challenge yourself. Was it just about
Yeah.
you and your own self?
Yeah, it was a couple things. It's hard for me to really pinpoint where it comes from, but I felt like it came from somewhere pretty deep inside. I think that as a kid, I actually suffered from a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear.
Mm.
And I anytime I did martial arts as a kid, I felt like there was a certain connection there that was kind of spiritual like. And I felt like nothing else existed in the world. And I felt a certain amount of that when I was playing soccer. But with martial arts specifically, I felt like I was doing something that was extremely important. And again, it could have been the influence of watching a lot of martial arts movies as a kid, and having a bunch of brothers around, and having to know how to defend yourself and talking about fighting and
Yep.
things. But I felt that calling, and getting in a fight, getting in a physical altercation, scared the shit out of me, to be candid. And uh, ultimately, I knew that there was a method to how to fight, and I wanted to learn that to feel more secure with myself.